In this video, we'll continue our discussion of triple integration by working another example. Alright, so this first one, if we look at our bounds, let's write them down. The outside bound is going to be z's, right? Z equals 0 to z equals 8. We're just looking at, like, what's the end, right? What do they match with? So those are my z's. My y's are y to 0. And be careful here, it looks a little confusing. I think when I worked it the first time, I put z over 3 with that next thing. They're separate. They're really close together. All right, let's go ahead and do our inside in terms of x to save some room. So if x is to the first power, I go up by 1 and I divide by the new one. It's just going to leave me with an x squared y. The negative is still there. And then I'm going to run this from x equals 0 to x equals the square root of z squared minus 9y squared. And then I got dy dz. Right, so let's plug those in. So I'm going to cheat here, copy and paste. Right, plugging those in. You just gotta be careful. The 0 is going to 0 out, so that's great. The square is going to cancel with the square root, so I'm just going to write the inside with the negative times y, and then we got dy dz. The reason we didn't plug that in is because it would just 0 out. All right, now we're with terms of y. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that. So rewrite there. And then I'm going to get a negative yz squared. And then a plus. Let's go ahead and flip these. I know that seems silly, but it's the mathematician in me. All right, so that 9y squared, and it's going to have a cubed with the y. So what? Positive 9y cubed minus yz squared. There we go. I think that looks pretty, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, there we go. Now let's take our integral with respect to y. Right, I go up by 1, divide by the new one. Up by 1, divide by the new one. And then I'm going to plug in y equals 0 and y equals z over 3 dz. All right, rewrite my z bounds. Okay, we just got to plug everything in there. It looks like it's going to be a complicated mess. The good thing is the 0 just zeroes out, so I don't need to worry about that. So when I feel overwhelmed like this, I literally plug it in and look at it. A lot of time, I'm trying to simplify as I'm plugging things in. I think we all kind of do that. But with stuff like this, I tend to not try to do anything like that. There we go. I rewrote it. I hate the z's. I'm so bad at writing z's, and if you can't tell, I think I start the wrong way. I start them the wrong way. Start at the bottom, I think. I don't know if that's normal. I don't think it is. All right, so I got, let's just figure this out, 9 over 4. I'll show you how I think about these. You can just plug in a calculator. I got 3 squared over 4 over z to the 4th over 3 to the 4th, because that's that 4th power. That's going to cancel with 2 of those, so I get z to the 4th over 4 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9 times 4 is 36. So this is z. Let's go ahead and put the 136 out front. Z to the 4th. You could use a calculator on the powers there with the numbers. That's perfectly fine. Okay, here we're going to get minus. I'm going to get z1 over. It's not a 6. It's a 9. 3 squared. So it's 1 over 18 z to the 4th dz. And then we might as well go to one term. They have z to the 4th. So I'm not going to do two different integrals. I'm just going to get like terms. If I multiply the second one by 2, I'm going to get, let's write it down over here, z to the 4th over 36 minus 2 over 36 z to the 4th. So I got minus 1 z to the 4th over 36. That's using like terms, dz. All right, that's z. I got to work on my z's. All right, so I've been doing this for 10 years, and they're still not better. I'm going to age myself because these videos I'll use for a few years. But, okay, I'll pull the 136 out. And then let's go ahead and do our integral. It's z to the 4th, so it's going to be 1 over 5 z to the 5th. And then we're running that from z equals 0 to z equals 8. Right? I did the arithmetic for us. This ends up being a negative 8192 over 45. So after you plug that in, that's what you're going to get. Use your calculator. There we go. So exact answers are preferred. If you get down to, you could even get down to this line, I think. You could type all that into your calculator and get an answer. It's up to you. I think exact answers are good for practice, and then we always need algebraic practice, so that always helps with that too. It's up to you.